Bet on Bears fans, per Ian Rappaport, the Chicago Bears will only move off the first overall pick if they can get historic draft compensation back. Can they get historic draft compensation back? What would that look like? And do you still take the quarterback anyway if a team is willing to give you that? We'll talk about all that and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel, Talk Chicago Sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So, per Ian Rappaport, who was basically in this article talking about what he's hearing around the league right now, is that Chicago would need a historic haul of draft picks and overall compensation to move off the first pick of the 2024 draft. In words of one source, it would have to be, in quotes, crazy. And I think here's what's interesting about this. Nowhere in the article does Ian Rappaport say that crazy is not available. In fact, everywhere we've heard crazy is available. And the part that I do like about this, he quotes Ryan Poles when Ryan Poles comes out and says, we're going to turn every stone to make sure we're making a sound decision for our organization. I did think Justin got better. I think he can lead this team, but at the same time, there is a unique situation. And a unique situation, of course, is having the first overall pick. And I think here's where this gets so incredibly interesting, right? Everything that we've heard being reported, everything that we've heard been talked about, everything that we've heard that people have said about what the Bears could get for this first overall pick, in my mind, has been historic the entire time. Now, is it Herschel Walker trade, right? Historic? I don't know if I'd say maybe you're getting that much, but what's to say you can't? Because what I would say is one of the second biggest fleece, I'd probably say this is the second biggest fleece in NFL history, is what Ryan Poles pulled off last season. I would say that that is a major fleece. You got the first overall pick again. You've got multiple players that are successful in their rookie year. You've got DJ Moore, who you know he's a dog, already in the building, and you can continue to add to your team with that first overall pick. And everything that's been reported has been that you could get more this year. So if in my mind, that's already the second best fleecing in NFL history behind the Herschel Walker trade, who's to say that this isn't historic level compensation that's on the table? I would say that that is historic level compensation that's on the table. And I think most people around the NFL believe that is what this first overall pick would bring. Now, the question that continues to pop up, the main reason that you have to have this conversation, the main reason that you have to talk about all of this is because if somebody's willing to give you the historic level compensation where, yes, you can build out your team, you can build out your roster, you can add pieces in so many ways, you can build out long-term, might put you in a position to get another quarterback further down the road, might allow you to do a lot here. If you can get all of that from a team, what does that say about the quarterback that the team is willing to give all of that up for? Because I don't believe that, I don't think there's a team that is going to be in the Carolina Panthers situation. And what I mean by that is, I don't believe that there is a team right now that is a quarterback is going to go to and have as much struggle as Bryce Young dealt with the Panthers situation last season. He may go to a bad team, right? I don't think if he goes to Washington, Caleb Williams is talking about. If he goes to Washington, I don't think it's going to be great. I think he's going to struggle there. Why? Washington doesn't have a team around him, right? It's Terry McLaurin and Caleb Williams. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, who knows, right? But he goes to New England. I mean, like, there's no team there yet. You still have to build out quite a bit. And I think what's interesting about, the point of all of that is, it's still not as bad as what Bryce Young is dealing with in Carolina. So it's not going to, I don't believe that you'll get that level of a pick back, I guess I should say, if you were to trade away the pick that is now Caleb Williams. You're not probably going to be in a situation where you can get the first overall pick again. So is it more advantageous to bring Caleb Williams to a team that is already somewhat through the process of building this team out? Yes, there's still pieces that need to be added. Yes, you still need to add pieces to that offensive line. Yes, you need to add more wide receivers into the room. There's a ton that still needs to be brought here. But you do have to weigh, if a team's willing to give you all of this for him, what could he do for your team? And it's interesting to see it one way or the other, because I think, I've said this on many occasions, I think in both situations, Justin Fields or Caleb Williams, you're putting your team in a position where you can go out and have continued success. You can go out and have long-term success as a franchise in the NFL right now. You can go out and be a winning team that is a playoff team next season, if Caleb Williams is able to hit the ground running, all of those things, right? Of course, rookie adaptation into the NFL basically being a major part of the one side of this, but there's a lot to weigh there, and I don't believe that the Bears have made their final decision on all of this yet. Now, the fact that they're not willing to move off of the pick for anything less than historic level draft capital, I think we already knew that already, right? Like we knew that they were going to get more this year than what they were going to get last year, because there was questions at the quarterback position. There was questions on Bryce Young's size. I don't think there's as many questions this year. A lot of the questions that you have with Caleb Williams are personality questions. A lot of the questions that you have with Caleb Williams aren't, is he going to be able to play at the NFL level? They're more so, is he going to be able to lead a team in the right way at the NFL level? And so I think when you start to weigh all of that out, right, like, you already knew that this young man was going to be able to come into the league and play in most people's minds, and I believe that he will be able to come into the league and play as well. So the question of how talented he isn't there. That means that I should get more than what I was going to get from Carolina for Bryce Young, because the question on Bryce Young wasn't just a talent issue, right? It wasn't that he wasn't talented. It was is his talent going to translate to a league where big guys win? Is his talent going to translate to a league where being a bigger player makes it easier for you to adapt to the game? In year one, it looks pretty scary. Hopefully in year two, that's able to get better. Hopefully that situation gets better. David Temper's kind of building a wild situation down there. But at the end of the day, I do want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. Do you feel like the Chicago Bears will take the historic level haul that I do believe they can get, or take the quarterback position? Because one way or the other, like I said, I think that you're moving in the right direction. And the fact that Rappaport's reporting this, to me, just confirms that the Bears aren't going to take a loss in this trade. And I love the fact that they're doing their due diligence one way or the other. They're doing their due diligence on what you can get back from Justin Fields, what you can get for Caleb Williams, what you can get for that first overall pick. All of that is going into this, because this is the year, this is the offseason, this is the draft that, to me, determines what the Chicago Bears are for the next 5 to 10 years. And I love the fact that they're actually taking their time with it. Now, the conversations everywhere are wild right now, right? Like, everybody's, oh, this guy's this guy's that, fourth quarter numbers, how's he gonna look in the NFL? Here we go, boom, 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 accusations left and right on everything. But what I do love is that, like Ryan Poles says, I'm off Twitter, the Bears are going through the right process this time. And I do believe that no matter the decision made, that will come with some success, right? Whether it is Justin Fields turning into a superstar in the NFL someday, and there's actual proper development here. There's a staff that's willing to develop them. There's an offensive staff in place, and there's pieces on this offense that are, right, the San Francisco, hopefully, level of pieces where you go out there and you're like, yeah, we got that, we got that, we got that, we got that. We're good. We got all of this stuff in place. We're good here. Or you sit there and you go out and get the quarterback, and you start to build with some of the pieces you already have here, maybe sign some vets to help his transition into the NFL a little bit easier, but he's coming into a situation that isn't starting at rock bottom. I think either option for Caleb Williams and or for Justin Fields does allow them to do the job the right way. If it were me, right, you guys know I'm a big Justin Fields fan. I could see where they could go with Caleb Williams, but I think the long-term success of teams comes from having multiple multiple pieces at long-term positions. So for me, I want the draft haul. I want the historic level compensation back. I want you got to think about it, right? You got a player last year. I'm getting a player this year. What is that player going to be? Am I traded with New York here? Is New York giving up their future pretty much for Caleb Williams to pair him up with Brian Daboll? If they are, okay, boom. You gave us all of this. What am I getting back in return? Let me get that 3 technique off for you. What's Dexter doing out there? Come on now, my guy. Yeah, I mean, like, I want to get the historic level compensation because I believe that having multiple bites at the apple and building out historic level teams allows you more flexibility in the future than having the one piece that is the most successful piece on the team. And you have to turn that piece into the most successful piece on the team. I just feel like the teams that we talk about long-term that end up winning, that end up having long-term success, that end up being in the Super Bowl year after year, time after time, right? The San Franciscos, Kansas City's now been in that. The Patriots, we don't just talk about one player on that team. We talk about the team. We talk about the historic levels of the team. You look at the 85 Bears, it wasn't about one position. It wasn't just about Walter. It wasn't just about McMahon. It wasn't just about, right? Like, it wasn't just about what the offense could do, I should say. It was about how everybody on that team came together, how everybody on that defense goes into the Hall of Fame, how everybody on that offense, for the most part, right, is an integral piece of how they're putting up points on a consistent basis. When you look at Galt, McMahon, Peyton, of course, right, like you start to see all of these pieces come together. And I think you get an opportunity to get those levels of teams when you have more than just the quarterback position on the field. Doesn't mean that you don't need to solve the quarterback position. I do think that's a position that does need to be solved at some point. But is there an easier path to solving that position with a player who's already got NFL experience or with going with the new piece? That's what Ryan Poles is going to have to figure out. So the question that I asked to you guys, the question I posed to you, do you want the historic levels of talent? Do you want the historic level of draft compensation, or do you want the talent? Draft picks, player possibly, and all of that, or Caleb Williams? That's the question that I posed to you. As always, I do want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Big Bird Don. Make sure y'all check out the interview, by the way, over on the Chicago Bears podcast that I got to do with Jason McKee, with Devin Hester, the new member of the Hall of Fame. As always, it's your boy Pat, the designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bird Don. Peace.